Welcome to Unbound Living. Today, I've got two of the main, most important women, closest women to me in my life. I've got my beautiful bride, Bristal, and almost like a big sister, Lia Copeland, you know. Super happy to have you back. We've got a new title to the podcast. It's called Unbound Living, and I've been stoked to have you in. You know, you and I have a lot of fun talking. We talk personal, business, and of course, politics.
Yep. So
that's always a good
Can we brag?
Yeah,
please. Can we?
Yes.
We did it.
Yes,
Did it.
exactly. Exactly. Very happy people in this room.
Very legitimized presidency now.
Yes.
I mean, even the left isn't trying to say that we didn't win this thing.
No, they can't. They can't. The wave came. The wave came.
Oh.
Landslide.
Yeah. So real quick, one of the reasons why we ended up changing the name is because there's several things in life that we often feel bound up by, and rules and things of that nature, and staying in certain lanes. I'm not that guy. You know, I'm definitely live unbound, and I like doing things the way that I like doing them. Sometimes it rubs people a little wrong. Sometimes, you know, it is what it is, right? I'm an individual, you know, and you definitely are as well. Mm-hmm. So those are things we're going to delve into a little bit today. And again, super excited to have you in.
Thank you. I'm excited to get unbound.
Unbound.
Unbound. I think that's really a strong name.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay, I like it.
So last time we talked, we definitely talked about politics. We talked about business, but I'm going to start with personal. I want people to get to know you. We went on your journey of where you started business-wise and things of that nature, but I'd like you to introduce yourself again for those that may not have seen the first two that we did together.
Okay. Well, I'm Lia Copeland. I've lived in Texas all my life, most of my life. I grew up in California, but we got here as soon as we could when I was 15. So I'm absolutely a Texan. I'm absolutely, I love this state. I love everything about it. I'm an entrepreneur for sure. I've done everything. Mortgages. I used to be a car dealer. Right here on this street, I had my dealership. Right where this, did you know that?
No, I didn't know that it was on this one, no.
On 183.
Wow.
Research.
Yep.
Yeah, it was right down the street from here. Number one Fiat Alfa Romeo dealership in the world. Broke world sales record. That was a lot of fun. Had the opportunity to sell in 2016, so I did. People say, why'd you sell? I said, because I had a buyer.
Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly.
The entrepreneur in me, I mean, I will sell anything.
Yeah.
My husband included. Anything. Money. It's about the money. And then I kind of went onto a path into real estate, and that happened in 2020, and built an incredible team, or incredible organization, including your amazing wife, and have great partners like you, top builders in the country. And we're getting ready to launch. I'm getting ready to launch with Grant Cardone Mortgage.
That is phenomenal.
Yeah, that's exciting.
Yeah,
it's very exciting.
Most days.
Yeah.
Most days.
Yeah.
Most days.
Well, you know, anything new is hard.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the markets really have been tough when it comes to mortgages and it comes to financing. The last 3 years have been a shit show.
Yes.
Like, it's been a hard ride. And so, you know, we're having to rebound from what has happened the last 3 years and start all over again.
Absolutely.
So
it
ain't easy.
No, it's not. It's not. And I think entrepreneurs like challenges and they like issues.
Yeah.
And they like solving problems at the end of the day.
And they like creating. You keep creating and recreating. You're a serial entrepreneur.
I agree with that. But, you know, I think about all the things that we are faced with in 2025. You as a new home builder, you as a real estate professional, me as real estate, and now starting this mortgage company. I think all the stuff that we have to fix. And then I think about poor President Trump. I'm like we're sitting here thinking, oh, we got to do this, we got to do that, we got to do this. And think what that man's got to come in here and do.
Yeah, exactly.
And he ain't scared.
No, not
He's
at
not
all.
scared.
No.
And you know, I take a page out of his playbook is that I surround myself with the best people on the planet to solve the problems.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Yep.
The
Absolutely.
greatest partners on the planet.
I appreciate it very much. And it's very mutual. You know
the
that.
feeling's mutual.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that.
So, as an entrepreneur, a lot of times people see the success. You know, they see the success on people's faces. They hear the stories of success. We all have those stories of failure.
Yes, that's what Botox is for.
Yeah.
That way you can't see it on my face.
Yeah, exactly.
You didn't see that one coming.
No, I didn't at all. I'm gonna need it.
Oh, you can see success on my face.
Yeah.
Success
You're like,
because I've got a good injector. That's good.
Exactly. So I would like to ask you, and I'll give you an example. Okay. Early on, and I express this story to everybody because I learned a ton from it. I had to file bankruptcy in my early 30s. Market turned. I had a bunch of investors run, and I got caught with a ton of properties that were all on me. And at the end of the day, there was nothing that I could do. But what I did is I learned a tremendous amount. There was times where I didn't paper things the way that I should have, and now I understand the importance of documenting everything. And it's not necessarily when times are good, it's when times are bad that documentation comes in so handy, right? Important. And all it is at the end of the day is managing expectations, right? So what was one of the, and I don't even want to call it failures, but trips even, that you think that you had in your life that you learned the most from, that has helped you as an entrepreneur that you have become today?
So you talked about papering things up. So I had a business partner several years ago, and before we got into the deal, he said, good neighbors build high fences. And at the time I thought, and he really encouraged us to paper up and lawyer up so that when and if we ever had a split, that it would be fair. And we had the split. And thank God, because it wasn't great and it wasn't fun, and it never is. It's like getting a divorce. And thank God we had done that. So I do believe in what you said about lawyering up, papering up, making sure that all your I's are dotted, your T's are crossed. And when it comes to a failure, oh God, I mean, there's been so many of them. And I think they're not failures, they're just things I've started.
And learning experiences.
And learning that just didn't work out. So one of them was something called Cars Her Way.
Okay.
I had a show on iHeartRadio. I followed Rush Limbaugh. So that's how far back it was, because he was still alive and on iHeartRadio.
Yeah.
And so I was on in Houston and Austin, and it was to help women consumers buy cars. So I had dealer partners, and all these dealers, had to go under my rules, and they get my pricing. But what I found out from that is that women don't want to be told how to buy a car. And I was so shocked because I had written a book, Car Buying Her Way. I was the #1 female dealer in the country. But when it came down to it, my big idea didn't work. And so a lot of people got disappointed. A lot of dealers, friends of mine, people that backed me in it. And so that was just disappointing.
Yeah.
And that was probably my biggest one.
Well, and the thing is that I think that people need to understand too is entrepreneurs take many risks. We're risk takers. We're gamblers. It's because we want to improve something, make it better. What are some of the things, Bristal, that you've run into in life that you would consider a failure? And again, I hate to use the term failure because you often come out on the other side 100% better than you started out with. It may feel horrible.
Especially with business dealings. I feel like some of the failures, quote unquote, have come from deals that I've wanted to do or that I've pushed, and maybe you didn't see that it was that great, but I saw that it was going to be something, and it ended up not being great, so I didn't see what you were seeing.
Don't you hate it when that happens? God, my husband and I have done that a couple times. It's like,
But I feel like those have to happen, and it would be weird if it didn't happen. If we didn't have business deals that failed, like who has that? Nobody has it. But when it happens, it's gut-wrenching. But you learn so much during the process, like we're just talking about. So when I think of failures, I think of the business deals that I've done that I've lost money on. We've lost money on, and that's a failure. We didn't make anything. We didn't break even. I think of those times, and I'm just like, ugh.
But do you think about all the deals you've made a ton of money on?
Yes. Hallelujah.
I think that in life and in business, I think if you win more than you lose, you're winning.
Yes.
Right? Like you've almost got to keep a win and a loss. Okay, one loss, made this much, lost this much. And then take it like a balance sheet. And at the end, if you're still ahead, you're winning.
Yeah, and you know what we're doing? We're risking. Every single time we throw out a risk. Most people don't do that. I know a lot of people, I'm friends with people, that they don't take risks. And we do. And the successes are greater than the failures, thank God. Fortunately.
So you're winning.
Yeah, so we're winning.
Yeah, absolutely. Gambling. Gambling is what
You
it
like
is,
to gamble.
ultimate.
We gamble.
I do like to play some table games every once in a while,
I'm
for
a little
sure.
nervous about our Las Vegas
Yeah.
trip.
No,
No, that'll be fun.
Oh, I
We've
hope
got
so. I
a.
already told my husband. I'm like, I need to see how much money you're taking down to that table.
Yep, we've got.
That's
you
my
know,
shopping money.
Yeah.
We can gamble at the Gucci store, you know. That's a gamble.
Oh, that's
Risk.
right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, there's a group of girls that'll be there that'll love that as well. So it will be a fun trip. You'll really enjoy everybody. It's going to be phenomenal.
Yeah, I'm excited.
So with quote unquote failures comes growth. From a failure, if you would, what do you think is the best turnaround that you've made? Like, did you meet someone that totally transformed your thought process, your sight, your ability to see something different?
Oh gosh, there's so many people.
Yeah.
That I mean, because I know you and
Yeah.
I know some of the people in your life.
Well, you know,
And
I think about meeting Grant Cardone back in 2011. He walked into my car dealership,
Mm-hmm.
and I did not buy his product at the time. And that's because I had a partner who absolutely dug in. He's not buying anything from that guy. He's a charlatan, da 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 da. But I really liked Grant, and I spent about 2.5 hours with him. And to this day, he'll say, I needed you to write me a check that day, and you didn't write me a check. And so that was a little bit of a fail, I think, because I think that we would have done well with his products and services back in the day.
What was it? Do you remember what it
Sales
was?
training.
Okay.
training.
Okay.
Now, fast forward, when I became the dealer principal and my name was on the sign, I did buy his sales training.
Okay.
So I did redeem myself, but he still likes to tell the story of how I
Yeah.
did not redeem myself. But I think about that relationship. So, I kind of, lost there in the beginning, I think, because we did not solidify by doing a transaction and doing business together, but I kept up with him. I believe in him. And then fast forward, when I got into real estate in 2020, he was the first one I called.
You know what? I'm going to stop you right there.
Yeah.
So you can sell, and I know that. So you're telling me that you didn't buy a product from someone that was teaching you how to sell. I wonder if that made him a better salesperson later on.
I don't know. We'd have
You
to
know,
ask him that. It made him mad.
I bet.
That day.
I bet. He-
I mean, it's been 14 years. He's still, every time I'm in the audience, he'll say,
Yeah.
and her right there.
Yeah.
I walked in her dealership and she didn't buy anything from me. And
Yep.
I'm just like, oh.
and
Like,
at
I
the
took
end
the
of the
meeting.
day,
Yeah.
You're like,
and your
I did take the
response
meeting.
should be, it made you a better salesperson.
Okay, I'll use that next time.
Absolutely. Turn it around.
Turn it around.
Yeah,
Stronger.
I
made
like
you
it.
stronger.
Yeah.
Excellent. So what are some of the things you said that you're looking to start another mortgage company? I know that you've got a family mortgage company, if you
do.
would, as well.
Yeah.
How is that going in the times that we're dealing with right now? Are you guys seeing new home purchases? I'm going to assume not refis.
No refis.
How has that business been? in
It's been
general?
okay. It's been okay. My husband's looking to kind of been, he'll kill me for saying this. It makes him so mad, but he's definitely been winding it down. And that's okay.
Yeah.
That's okay. What I see is what we're looking at is the next 3 to 5 year forecast. And so with that forecast, knowing that with especially, and we were kind of holding off to see if Trump would win.
Right.
Because if Trump didn't win, it was almost a moot point. Because
Yep.
there was no way that this last administration was going to do anything to try to choke the Fed. They weren't going to do it. They were going to continue to drive inflation. The markets were going to fail. Interest rates were going to stay high, and the real estate market was going to stall. Like it's
Absolutely.
been stalled the last 3 years.
Yep. And I think a lot of people forget that the real estate market itself is what real estate market and construction drives our economy so much.
And automotive.
Absolutely.
Automotive's been in trouble the last 3 years.
Yes.
I know. It's going to be real interesting to see what happens with a lot of these electric car mandates that have been happening, like in California and things like
I'm
that.
just interested. Like, okay, so can we just talk about that for a second? Because I'm so geeked out on Elon Musk. I love him so much.
Yeah.
So we know what Trump thinks about the electric car mandate. I mean, he, Trump, he just says
Yep.
it. It's like you and me and you. Like,
Yep.
we just say it. It is how it is. Love us or hate us. I don't care. So we know that Trump is all about the big three. He hates the electric car mandates. He's drill, baby, drill. Like, forget all these tree huggers.
Yep.
And then his new best friend and his kids are calling him Uncle Elon.
Yeah.
Like, what is the play here?
Wait, did you see in the news somebody had said from an awful television show that he's the first buddy? He's the first
Oh,
buddy.
the first buddy.
First
Yes,
buddy in
yes,
the White House.
yes.
I want to be Trump's first buddy.
Yeah.
And Elon wrote, I don't mind being the first buddy.
Yes.
So I was like,
Yes.
Good,
So
good on him.
Exactly.
Good
yeah,
on him.
yeah, I mean, they're like flirting on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So crazy. But like,
that's great.
what is the play there for
I
Elon?
don't know. That's
Because
crazy.
I mean, because nothing about Trump has pandered to this electric car business,
Not at all.
and all that Elon builds is electric cars.
Yep.
But they are best friends, tied at the hip.
Yep. What I'm wondering is if there's going to be a play, because like look at California. You know, they had the electric car mandate, and then everybody was buying electric cars, and then they were having brownouts because they didn't have enough power to charge these cars, let alone keep ACs going and all that good stuff. I'm almost wondering if there's going to be a new way to produce energy outside of nuclear. Maybe it's coal. Maybe it has something to do with gas, with diesel,
You
something
think
like
that governor of California is really?
I think he can be left behind. I think, you know, if it's up to me, you just cut California off and you let them become their own country and let them do it on their own, you know, see how well that they can do that. I heard, you know, Gavin Newsom's even starting to backstep a little bit, saying, you know, that the Democrats have overstepped. And
Oh, they're all backstepping.
Yeah,
it is
they
such a
are.
beautiful thing
Yeah.
to see every
love it.
single day. I wake up. Who are the guys? The coffee with the,
Morning
Oh,
Joe
yeah.
or
Morning
what have
Joe.
you.
Mika.
Yes.
they had their butts at Mar-a-Lago sucking up.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
everyone's like, okay, this
Everybody's
is a
mad at them.
legitimate win by Donald J. Trump. We better get back in step.
Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's so beautiful to see.
But I feel like Elon goes way beyond electric cars, right? He's got over $300 billion. That's 3 times more than Bill Gates has in money. Like that's just a lot of money.
Well, Trump's been in Texas today. You know
Yeah.
that with
the
Elon
rocket launch.
for the
Yes.
rocket
Yep.
launch. So we've got that.
and
but
Trump
this-
loves space.
He loves space, but I'm just because he's the one who
Yeah,
started
he
the
started SpaceX.
SpaceX.
Yeah.
So there's SpaceX. Anyways, I don't know. I want to be a fly in that room
Yes.
on the wall. I need to know what those two are up to.
Exactly.
It's making me crazy.
I know.
Because I'm telling you, this whole electric car mandate is the big disconnect between the two of them.
Right.
There's a plan. There's
I know.
definitely got to
no,
be a
I have
plan.
no doubt. I mean,
just
Donald
wanna
J.
know what it
Trump
is.
Yeah.
plays
We wanna know.
chess, not checkers.
Yeah.
We
Yep.
know that about him. But I want to be in the game.
Yep.
Like, I want to
100%.
know. I need to know. I'm so confused. I can't figure it out. I lay awake at night and I think about it. Like, why are they friends?
We need to get at that table.
We do.
Mm-hmm.
We do.
We will be heading there for the inauguration,
Yes.
which will be a blast too.
Yeah.
You know, so that'll be neat to be in the city where it's happening.
Right.
It is
You
neat.
know?
It's always fun to be in the city when you're a winner.
Mm-hmm.
Except that it's a city of losers.
Yep.
And I'm not saying they're, but you know,
Exactly.
they lost the election.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So when we're not on camera sometime, I'll tell you about going to George W.'s inauguration, and the cab driver figured out why I was there. And my son was in the cab with me, and he drove us around screaming at me. And we did not think that he was going. I mean, my son has never been terrified.
That's scary.
He
Yeah.
was terrified. And
Yeah.
finally, he takes us to the hotel. I get out of the cab. I tell the guy at the front what happened. I said, get my luggage out now. I'm not paying him. This is back before apps, and call the police. And so I literally called Homeland Security that night.
Wow.
Got his cab number and everything. It was
Yeah.
nuts. So, anyways, be careful.
Yeah, no, 100%. It's going to be interesting during that time period in and around there, but I think we'll be surrounded by
A lot of
fellow
patriots.
patriots
You will be.
and
Yeah.
You will be.
you know, so it should be good.
But they're going to spit in your food in the cafes. Just know that.
I know. Maybe we need to sit back in
I
the
didn't think
kitchen
about
and
that
watch
one.
them prepare, right?
Exactly.
So with the new administration taking office here real soon,
Yeah.
it's not just about Trump, and that's what I think is extremely exciting.
Me too.
You know, you got RFK, you've got individuals that are in there that did not necessarily see eye to eye on everything.
Dr. Oz, do you see he got today?
Yes,
Got an appointment
yes.
today?
Well, and how about Bernie Sanders going to come in and help regulate?
Part.
You just ruined my whole day.
I know, but listen to this. Listen to this. He wants to help Trump mandates that credit cards cannot charge you more than 10% interest. That's going to be what he heads. And I think he'll lean to it. I think he'll do it. I'm not a Bernie fan at all.
Yeah.
But I thought it was absolutely hilarious. And I guarantee you heads were exploding when that happened. You
I
know?
heard that Kamala went to Hawaii today.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh,
Yep.
Yep. pressure got to her. Jumped on a plane and went to Hawaii.
Yep.
I'm not sure if she's going to bury the $20 million in campaign debt there, or if she's going to take a private plane and add to the $20 million
Exactly.
of campaign
She's
debt.
just going on vacation.
She's going.
It's
It
insane.
was tough.
Wait, do y'all notice when the three of us start talking, like Mike started out, and there's 3 buckets that we're going to discuss today: business, personal, and politics.
Yep.
But it doesn't matter
so
what
bad.
bucket
I am
it
a
is.
bad guest.
We're talking politics
Yeah.
throughout.
I know.
I mean, it's entwined into.
Yeah.
Our
Well, let's
career
go
and
back to
personal.
business because we
Okay.
can intertwine these, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
We can weave. As Trump says, he talks and
About
he
weaving.
weaves.
Yes.
Yes. So
He weaves better than anybody else I've ever
yes,
seen.
with that said, the political climate is going to improve business. And you just did an interview that you sent to me, which was phenomenal, by the
good.
way.
Oh, thank you.
And what were some of the things you discussed? What are some of the thoughts that you see that are going to happen with the market in the next several years?
Well, in fact, before that interview, I called you and I talked to you about it. You know, you being a home builder, right? You know, so there's some things that, like, you know, if we don't address them, then we're not being true to our audience, and we're not being realistic. And one of them, I asked you, deportation. We're in Texas. You know, we have a highly Hispanic workforce, and
We do.
you know, so there's that. Tariffs. What happens when we start putting tariffs on Canada for lumber and steel and all of that? You know, that drives the price, the housing prices up. So I asked you for a very realistic opinion of what that's going to cause. You know, Trump gets elected. The markets go crazy. The bond market, the stock market, they rally, highest that we've seen in years. You know, the markets are going, oh my God, America just got saved. The Fed does an overnight rate cut the next day of 1/4 point, and mortgage rates go up. Because the overnight rate cuts don't drive mortgage rates, the markets do. So, you know, we're not going to see, in my opinion, a rebound in interest rates as quickly as we thought we were going to see them originally. I mean, we can't help that, you know, all of our 401ks are up by 30% now. And if you're in
Exactly.
digital currency, it's up, I don't know, 50, 100%.
Oh my gosh.
Oh,
yeah.
it's insane. I've got
Unbelievable.
buddies that are making 6 figures a day right now.
Yeah.
Just
Unbelievable.
on
Figures a day.
A day.
a day.
How did we miss
day.
that one?
I mean,
Missed it. Like,
Yeah.
it was like
That-
the Titanic coming
Yeah.
at me, and I missed it.
the woulda, shoulda, coulda, right?
know.
You know, and we talked about tariffs. And, you know, years ago, back when Canada was gouging us for softwoods,
Right.
Trump said he was going to slap tariffs on them. What did it do? It made him go ahead and reduce costs again.
Right.
So tariffs, while you know, a lot of people will argue that they are a bad thing, they're also a very good thing to lead those individual companies in the right direction, right? And it will also drive competition. So if you have several different manufacturers of a widget, if you would, and one comes from overseas and you slap massive tariffs on it, it will cause competitions for other people that make that similar widget to reduce their costs. And if those overseas companies want to do business, they have no other choice than to follow the rule.
Yep.
So tariffs to me are a punishment for not doing what's right at the end of the day. And I only see benefits from them right out of the gate. The threat of a tariff, most of the time, even in Trump's last administration, he would threaten a tariff and it would have the exact same effect. They would lower rates. They would do what they were asked to do. So just the threat of a tariff oftentimes has a positive outlook anyway.
And we saw it in the auto industry. You know, I was an American car dealer, right, with Fiat, but we were owned by, at that time, the Chrysler Corporation. And so, you know, he would put tariffs on, you know, when we put tariffs on the Japanese car makers, you know, that would slow down the amount of cars that would come into the U.S. And then that would help the American car makers be able to get cars over the curb. And that was super important. So, you know, I know that tariffs are needed to protect our homeland, to protect our products, to protect our factories, to protect our workers. A very wise man said to me, you know, when you're in a fight, sometimes you got to get punched. You know, and you know, getting punched is not necessarily a bad thing. And we're in a fight right now. We're in a fight to save America. We're in a fight to save manufacturing. We're in a fight to save the automotive industry. We're in a fight to save the building and construction industry. But to your point with the tariffs, we're going to have to get punched. I think we're going to have to get punched when it comes to pricing. I think we're going to get punched when it comes to interest rates. Why? Because I don't think we're going to see them come down as fast as we thought we were. But what's the other side to that punch? Well, we get up and our 401k, our stock market accounts are 30% higher than they were this year.
You're trading one for one.
You are. Except that eggs and bread and gas and all those things are going to come down because I do believe that Trump's going to get inflation under control. And I think that people know now that we have a serious president, that is mentally competent. So there's that.
Yep.
But with a serious administration that won an election, a landslide based on these promises. And I know and I believe that they will go down trying.
100%.
I agree.
And
I
a lot of that,
believe
again,
these guys.
is who he surrounded himself by and who he has chosen.
And he has drained the swamp. I mean, the swamp is petrified
Still
right
draining.
now.
Yep.
He's just draining. He's bringing in the entrepreneurs. He's bringing in the Democrats. He's bringing in Bernie Sanders. Like you just,
I know.
I could have gone my whole life without hearing that one.
I know.
But hey, if we can get interest rates reduced to 10% on credit cards, that will save a lot of Americans from having to file bankruptcy because they get in over their heads.
Yeah.
Like,
It's all an effect that happens. And speaking of the punch, like I feel like most people, including myself, I'm better on the come up. Like if somebody punches me in the face with something I've got to start over, I'm going to fight harder. I just feel like that's what most people do.
Oh, I like that.
That's what I do. The come up is a good place
absolutely.
to be
Yeah, no, I think
sometimes.
that's
And you're trading a lot of times one for one. One of the biggest things that they're going after is employment taxes and hopefully abolishing the IRS.
Would that just not
So
be awesome?
if you
what
can
happens to the 84,000 people that Biden hired?
I mean, that they're going to have to find something else. They can find, jobs that we're creating here in the United States, which will be tremendous. But if you could put 30 to 37% back in your pocket, at that point, interest rates are mute.
They don't matter.
They don't matter at
They
all.
don't matter. I agree.
And at the end of the day, could they come down? They could come down. But again, 37% is a lot to stick back in your pocket.
How are we going to reduce the federal deficit, though?
I think it's by less regulation, because again, competitive markets thrive. Entrepreneurs thrive. We're 80% of the job force out there and 80% of the revenue that happens in this country. And if you let entrepreneurs do what they do, it creates better markets. It happened 4 years ago. At the end of the day, as a business owner, if we are doing better, we hire more people.
Right.
And the more people we hire, the more jobs we create, the more that we are able to do. And the cycle it just grows and grows and grows.
But do you think the federal government will write down or write off, literally, part of this deficit? Because I'm all about abolishing the IRS, or even just going to a straight flat tax. We all let's just all pay 10%.
Yep.
Yeah.
Then everyone can quit lying and cheating and stealing on their tax returns, right?
Yep.
We're all going to pay 10%. If you're a billionaire or you're a nobody, it's 10% across the board. And that probably will generate more money for the U.S.
Yes.
It probably will.
Well, and politicians can stop making promises that what they're going to do with that money.
Yeah.
So.
Or sending it to Ukraine for foreign wars that we don't want any part of.
Exactly. That's a great question. I think there's a huge problem with our currency. I don't think our currency is going to last much longer. And I think it will go digital. Hence, the height in cryptocurrency right now. They say currencies are only worth, up to 80 years worth of a lifespan. We've reached that. And the government, unfortunately, has just continued to print money, which only devalues that dollar. So at some point, even with the BRIC system, we've talked about this before, other countries are going to refuse to take our dollar because it's not backed by anything.
Okay, but what did I just hear in the last week? And it was a country, and they said, no, we will take the U.S. dollar, but it was someone threatening not to take it, but now that Trump is president. Did you hear that?
No, I didn't.
Yes, I know what you're talking about.
I know. Anyways, I'll have to think of it. But
Yeah. Well, and Saudi, had a huge, one of the very first, after they did not renew the petrodollar with the U.S. and decided to take other BRICS currencies, they took a separate BRICS currency and they actually did the exchange with the cryptocurrency XRP. And so lately, XRP is a utilitarian, that's a tongue twister for me, cryptocurrency that's actually used in the exchange of money from one person to another. And the funny thing is one of the largest owners of XRP is JP Morgan Chase. So when you think of that and you think of the big boys getting involved in this, cryptocurrency could be the demise of most banks, because at what point do you need a bank anymore?
Right.
You can currently do loans with cryptocurrencies and certain wallets and things like that. And you have a transactional coin that does the job for you. And that alone should scare the shit out of all banks. But when those big boys are jumping on board, something's up.
Yeah.
So that's the thing that concerns me is our currency, the actual valuation of that dollar. It will be interesting. I know Trump wants the dollar to be, the most valuable currency again. So to do that, what do you back that dollar
He's going
by?
to go put gold in. So maybe he's trying to talk Elon into turning his $300 billion into gold that he can put back into Fort Knox.
It'd be phenomenal because you've got to have it backed by something, right? Versus an IOU.
That's all it is now.
That's all.
Yeah.
And it's a negative IOU.
A negative. It dwindles by the day.
Yeah.
So what do you think, and we all have the same understanding, what do you think causes or makes generational wealth? What's one of the biggest things?
Real estate. It's real estate. There's no doubt about it. Dirt is dirt is dirt. Now, if I own a piece of dirt, you might pay me someday in crypto, in digital currencies. I mean, you might pay me in yen, you might pay me in rubles. I don't know, whatever happens. But I still own the dirt.
Yeah.
I still own the dirt. So whatever that currency is at the time that I'm selling that dirt, I'm going to get paid.
Yep. Yeah. Absolutely.
That's
And
my
we talked about
simplest.
diversifying, and in our portfolios, we have all different sorts of things.
Right.
But real estate is the first thing I feel like people should be investing their money in, and then venture out into their portfolio, into different stuff.
Because nobody can take our real estate
Right.
away from us.
They're not making any more.
They're not
real
making
estate.
any more of it. They can't take it away from us. Whatever the currency is at the time, it is what it is. All of my real estate's paid for. So even if I don't sell it for what I paid for it, but if times get tough, I can still sell it for something.
Yep.
And it's very rare that real estate over a longer period of time has declined in
Right.
value.
Yeah.
Right.
You
And
look
then you
at
just wait a little bit longer, even if that happens, and it's going to go up. It's never going to
And you can
continue
always
to go
borrow
down.
against
Yeah.
it. You
Yes.
can leverage it.
Yep.
You can bring in a partner on it. I don't know. I don't know of anything else. I mean, you look at the stock market crash. You look at big companies that, they've been in business 100 years, 200 years, and now they're gone.
Yeah.
Yep.
Stock is gone overnight.
Yep. I listened to this fellow talk the other day that was specifically talking about real estate, and what he would do is he would find cities that had a growth of 25% or more on average per year, and he would go 8 to 15 miles out from the center and just start buying large plots of real estate and sit on it.
So smart.
And it's so simple that you go, why the hell didn't I think of that, right? And his point was, it's not something he was looking to flip.
I did it in Belton, Texas.
Yeah, you sure did.
Yeah.
I did it. I mean, we bought this building. I think we're in it for $500,000 now because of the rents we've got on it. It's worth $850,000. I've owned it for 2 months.
And it's only going to continue to go up.
Yeah,
You know?
So but we went outside of, the Georgetown, and we went out about 10, 15 miles where people aren't really thinking about yet. But all of it just goes up and up and up, right? And so I agree with that.
Yeah, from a tax benefit, from everything, you know.
Yeah.
I've got a buddy that has done tremendously well in oil, and it's kind of a joke, but his CPA and attorney came to him one day and was like, you're getting in the real estate market. And he was like, well, what do you mean? And he was like, you need deductions.
Yeah.
Because he was doing so well in oil, he needed something to offset it. And that's something that people don't look at as
Right.
well.
What happens, I don't know, I'm thinking out loud here,
Yeah.
maybe I'm going down a rabbit trail, but we abolish the IRS, we go to a flat tax. What happens to all of our depreciation deductions? In real
I
estate?
don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. But if you're not taxed,
Yeah, that's true.
similarly,
So who
you
cares?
won't need the deductions,
Yeah.
right?
Although I do
So,
have friends that pay no federal income tax.
Yeah. I wish
I'm
I
not
was
one
in
of
that.
them.
I'm not one of
either.
those either.
I
I'm
do not own enough real estate yet to offset my
Yeah.
income, but that's
no.
a goal.
I want to find that Uncle Sam dude and punch him in his nose. You know
goal,
what I
though.
mean? It is intense, but
Yeah.
it would make the world a better place with none of that. But and that's the thing, you're taxed on your income. You're taxed on when you buy something, when you sell something. It's insane.
It's insane.
Property taxes.
Yeah.
It's so true. A true flat tax, I'd be all for.
Oh, I would too. 10%, I would think I just won the lottery.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So we've talked a little bit about business, a whole lot about politics. what
favorite subject.
exactly, right? And that's something that our conversations always lead to, right? And we like to be informed about what's going on.
That we're patriots. Like we
Yes.
love our country.
Yeah. We
Like
wanna
we're
know.
entrepreneurs. We love our country. We would all fight for this country if we had to.
And it's just important to be equipped with knowledge.
But how
Knowledge of our
come that
country.
makes us bad to the other side?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what
Just
I'm
because we
saying.
love our country. Like, is
Yeah.
that unpatriotic to want to make America great again?
Yeah.
Like,
I don't.
MAGA, I want to make America great again. Canceled.
Yeah.
Canceled.
Yeah.
Like-
It's a sickness
Yeah.
or something like
You're
that.
a member of a cult. Like,
But now you have women shaving their heads, divorcing their husbands, breaking up with their boyfriends, swearing sex off forever. And it's like, for real?
I should not even be on camera.
And
for this
we're the
conversation.
one that
And we're crazy.
And we're the ones in the cult,
know.
right?
We're in the
so-
cult of just wanting to make our country great again.
I know. But the thing that's nice is even though there's a ton of divide, I think what this has done is also brought people together.
Yeah.
People that haven't been together forever. And for years, it's been a constant divide. And someone coming up with something new to continue to divide people because we are stronger together than we are apart.
Right.
And that's what caused the red wave, is people came together from all races,
They did.
ethnic backgrounds,
A third of the voters were either African American or Hispanic. I mean, if it was not, especially for the Hispanic vote, I mean, we would not have brought
Yeah.
in this red wave. And these were voters that were typically voting Democratic, but they knew, like, they were on a sinking ship.
Well, and they've been lied to for years.
years.
And it finally has started to click, and there is nothing more than I love than to see people succeed. I don't care what race, color, I don't care.
Yeah, just
I
win.
love
Just win.
Yeah.
people succeeding.
Me too.
And hopefully that's a mantra that'll be carried forward for several years.
Yeah.
Nothing like
Because
being
it
a
shouldn't be
cheerleader.
about all of that. I mean, all of us bleed red.
Exactly.
And so at the end of the day, like, we should all be together. We should all want America to win. We should all want each other to win, because when we win, America wins, our kids win, our communities win, our state wins, our country wins. Like, anybody that goes against that thought process, that's not American.
That should be the outsider
It should be.
at the end of the day,
I agree.
Absolutely. Well, I appreciate you coming in. I know you girls
Yes.
have a big night tonight.
We
You're
do.
all glittered up,
Sparkly.
sparkly.
Yes.
What do you have on tap tonight?
We have a Christmas affair to attend with maybe some shopping is involved. A little bit of shopping.
Have you been to the safe at the house yet?
Not yet.
Okay.
That's our stop next.
No, gosh, I tell you, these girls get to go in and they go to market in Dallas
Yeah.
and come back with a couple things here and there.
Yes,
Yeah.
a couple.
It
So-
brings us joy.
Yes, it does bring us joy.
So I appreciate you very much coming in as
Yes, of
always.
course. Thank
You're
you.
phenomenal, and I
Thank you.
adore and love you.
Thank
so
you. I love you guys. I think
Thank
it's
you.
great. I love talking about this. I think it's important conversations. And there's going to be people that watch this that don't like us anymore.
yeah,
And I'm sorry for that.
yeah.
I think other people would want to know,
Yeah.
what, other than real estate, what do we invest in that is some of our favorite things? Like, I think for me, investing in silver and gold, like, I love getting those gold bars, the silver bars, and stacking them up in our safe, because that's a currency that is, always moving in the up direction. So what are some of the things that y'all invest in other than real estate that is your favorite?
That's funny. We were on a call today with some friends of ours. I'll tell you about later. But we were on a call today investing in an AI company that's got some really incredible upgrowth to it, and they just signed a huge contract. And so I think we're going to invest there. So sometimes in some
Love that.
startups, I like investing in building stuff. I've got to say though, bar none, number one, real estate, building, doing spec homes with people like you, going in and developing communities. It just never goes away. It might be slow at times.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Yep.
It's slow, but boy, when it hits, it hits.
Absolutely.
So bar none, real estate number one, and then just some little tinkering here and there with startups.
Things that people will always need, right? You
Yeah.
always need grocery stores.
Yeah.
You always need plumbers, electricians, HVAC guys.
Yeah.
You'll always need housing. You'll always need school. If you can delve into one of those areas
Yeah.
that people will always need a resource from,
Yes.
you'll always do well.
So what's one of your favorite investments that we have?
I was going to ask you though, before he says that,
Yeah.
does like investing in Chanel count?
Yes. Yeah. Because you know what a legit topic is? Because I mean,
Legit.
is
hold their value.
Rolexes as well. Like Rolex
Just nice
watches
Yes, I love my Rolex.
has what I think I got my first Rolex 7 years ago,
Yeah,
7 or 8
something
years
like
ago, and it quadrupled in price.
We got
wow.
it right
And
before it
yes.
went through the roof before
Yeah.
COVID and all that stuff. Yeah, we got it before that.
And now
yeah.
Rolex, I mean, and for the past, 6 months to a year, they've gone down a little bit.
Yep.
Still not down to where I bought it at
Yeah.
6-7 years ago.
Yeah.
But,
Yep.
but it's going to shoot back up. So other than Rolexes, yes, Chanel
Chanel, designer
holds
stuff.
their value.
Don't
like a
ever buy
car.
cars.
Yeah.
No.
Not cars. Former car
No.
dealer is going to tell you a car is just something to drive, something to enjoy, something to look good in, but
a
they're not a
tool.
good investment.
Yep, absolutely. Gold and silver.
gold and
I
silver.
love gold and silver.
agree. Yeah.
You know, it's good. And I don't even look at that as something that makes money as much as it retains value.
Yes.
Now, granted, it's gone up, but it's almost a saving.
But it's something that you could go trade if you had
Yes.
to.
Absolutely.
Right? Like if this whole thing implodes, you could have some gold coins and you
Yep.
could go to the supermarket and you could get food.
Yep.
Or you could buy a cow or you could do whatever.
Yep.
I think that livestock's not a bad investment. Commodities, you know.
Yep.
Yes.
Sharon Lecter.
Yes.
Yeah.
totally.
Assets are sexy.
Assets are sexy. And,
Yep.
and you know, when we're at the ranch, her 500 cows, I'll go, oh, I love your cows. And she goes, those are my assets.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes. Yeah, I
yep.
love that.
We watched her speak,
Yeah.
was it a couple weekends ago, and
Yeah.
she put up a picture.
Yeah.
And she goes, what do you see? And everybody was cows.
Cows. There's
And
like
she
30
goes,
cows.
Yep. And she goes, I see assets.
That's right.
You know?
Because the cows have babies, and then
Yeah.
and then she
Yep.
sells the babies for hamburger. It's
Yeah.
so sad.
Yeah. But they're good.
But they're good.
Yes.
And so, right, exactly.
No, absolutely. No, I love the gamut. And it's all diversification.
Yes.
At the end of the day, too.
It is. You got to have a little bit of a lot.
Yes.
You know, but I do say, I hope this becomes a clip, that you want to build generational wealth, you build it in real estate.
100%.
You need to own the dirt.
Agreed.
You know, again, no matter what currency that we are trading in this great country, at the time that you need to sell the dirt will always be there. The dirt will never let you down. Mm-hmm. You know, but and when you buy dirt, you want to buy location, location, location. You can buy dirty dirt in a great location, but you buy great dirt in a bad location and you're sunk.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Great advice.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you very much
Yeah.
for coming again. And I know that we will do this quite often, even
I can
more.
just see this like being like the, you know, Mike show, the Mike and Lisa.
Yeah, the
Yes.
quarter report.
Yeah,
and
let's
Bristal
do it.
show. Like,
Yes.
yes, the quarterly report.
down.
It's so important.
I'm down.
I want to come back after the inaugurations just so we can brag a little bit more.
Yes.
Yes,
We'll
I
have
like
to bring
that idea.
pictures.
Like, I just feel like this is just such a moment in time that, I don't know. I mean, just to see what Donald Trump has done,
Yeah.
how he's been persecuted. Oh my God, persecuted, prosecuted, shot at. I mean, you name it, and you
Yep.
cannot hold that man
He's
down.
dodged it.
Yeah.
He's dodged it. He's gotten back up, and all he's wanted to do is make America great again. And he is showing it by the people, including Bernie Sanders, that he is bringing to the table to make America great
the
again.
best of the best. And this, he doesn't have to do this.
I know.
He could just walk off
Anywhere,
into the sunset.
to one of his property in Scotland or whatever he's talking about the other night. He's like, I got properties way better than this one. I'm thinking, you do.
Yep.
You're a billionaire. Get on Trump Force One and just take off.
Yep.
But he won't.
It's insane. It's
Well,
insane.
we will report the real news when we get back
Yes.
from the inauguration.
I love that.
Absolutely. Thank you very
Okay,
much.
thanks for having me.
Yeah.